JD Vance is Trump's pick for vice president. Now, a lot of Canadians are asking, is he good for Canada? Now, the obvious pick for a lot of Canadians was Vivek Ramaswamy, and it has to do with, well, rhetoric like this.
He's like a Klaus Schwab Jr., sort of a Klaus Schwab disciple. And I think that he is somebody who is a useful puppet. I mean, it's not that this guy is some sort of shining intellect that is somehow a visionary in his own right. He's not. He's a pawn for a managerial class, both within and outside of Canada, that uses people like him as a pawn to advance a transnational globalist agenda that has a single hegemonic view that is fundamentally skeptical of self-governance, does not believe in people's ability to govern themselves, believes in a worldview where people need to be told what the right way is or isn't to live by a small group of aristocratic elites in the back of palace halls.
That's I can see a lot of Canadians backing that guy, but nonetheless, Trump's pick was JD Vance. Now, despite JD Vance being a never Trumper only 8 years ago, he's come a long way on his opinions about Trump, but he's also been ideologically along the same lines the whole time. The more I look into this guy, the more I actually like about him. But what is his view on Canada? And this is really the point of this video today. And well, we start looking back, and people have been pointing this out on Twitter, on X, sorry. Lots of people pointing out exactly what his opinions have been for several years. Now, this is during the time of the Emergencies Act being declared against a peaceful protest in Canada. This was the Deputy Prime Minister talking about how they're going to, use people's bank accounts against them. JD Vance was saying on Twitter, "This is why crypto is taking off. The regime will cut off your access to banking if you have the wrong politics." He didn't stop there. Eva Chipiak commenting about this, comments about Canada by Trump's VP nominee. It seems he's more concerned about some of the things happening in Canada than our own elected officials. Now let's go over some of these tweets. The more I read about this, the more I like this guy every day. As the Ottawa police were using new powers they were being given by the federal government, JD Vance was saying, "This is wild. Ottawa police using every tool available to shut down the peaceful trucker protest." Then later commenting on more things, the Canadian truckers have killed 0 people and are being treated like terrorists in their own country. 18 months ago, BLM riots killed 20 people and were bailed out of prison by the future vice president of the United States. It's time for conservatives to get serious. Wow, conservatives were definitely not getting serious at the time in Canada. In fact, people were getting serious, and the conservatives had to oust their leader just to show people in Canada that they had a little bit of seriousness to them. JD Vance also saying, that what's happening in Canada is a far greater assault on democracy than anything the left has whined about for the last few years. It could happen here if we don't elect people who defend our voters. Absolutely. Going on to say the left's hatred for those truckers is so revealing. Absolutely. And and he keeps going. He keeps going. Even talking about these Catholic churches, record number of Catholic churches, just churches in general in Canada being burned down, saying, what the hell is happening in Canada? Well, what the hell is happening in Canada indeed? Now, JD Vance, I mean, he's had some really good takes, and well, here's a great montage of JD Vance's most viral moments put up by Daily Caller.
The thing the media and Congressman Ryan, they talk about this all the time. The thing they never mentioned is that poor girl was raped by an illegal alien, somebody that should have never been in this state in the first place. When the media and people like Tim Ryan accuse me of engaging in the great replacement theory, I'll tell you exactly what happens, Tim. What happens is that my own children, my biracial children, get attacked by scumbags online and in person because you are so desperate for political power that you'll accuse me, the father of 3 beautiful biracial babies, of engaging in racism. We are sick of it. You can believe in a border without being a racist. You can believe in the country without being a racist. And this just shows how desperate this guy is for political power.
I think it takes a special amount of gall to be from Joe Biden's political party and to complain about the fentanyl crisis that is ravaging not just Ohio, but the entire country, because it is Joe Biden's border policies that have invited this fentanyl into our country at record levels.
It explains that wife, the word wife, is an example of the type of language that we need to eliminate. And I'm just asking if that's something you think is necessary or something you support.
I'd have to give that one some more thought.
Well, I would hope that the word wife is not something that or is something that we can all agree is a reasonable vocabulary word that most Americans use in their daily life. It's not something that we need to eliminate. And
well, not just Americans, but Canadians too. If those issues sounded like something familiar to you, it's because a lot of the issues that America's having are the same issues that Canada is having. And this is the whole idea. We change the culture, we bring things back. And this is what's exactly happening at the moment in the United States of America. And I feel proud to have, as a dual citizen, have a vice president nominee, the guy who's going to be running for vice president, have such concern over Canada, because I think, and I really do feel this, is that Canada could become the largest national security concern for the United States with the direction that it's going. Obviously, I'm concerned about this, and many Americans should be concerned about this, but so should Canadians. Absolutely, Canadians should be concerned about this and turning things around so we could be partners again. We should be partners and forget about the old Pierre Elliott Trudeau idea of Americans being Canadian identity is the only thing that Canadians ever had as an identity point was the fact that we weren't Americans. No. These are our brothers. These are our sisters. These are our family. They're our neighbors. We share the longest border with them. It is insane to think that we wouldn't have a lot in common. And again, a lot of the talking points, the great replacement theory stuff. You mentioned that he has biracial children. Yeah, that's right. JD Vance has biracial children and an Indian wife. Just took out 80% of the left's ammunition right there. But they're not going to stop. They're not going to stop. Here's CNN talking about how dangerous it is that he's going to be running with Trump. And why is he dangerous? Well, because he's going to be effective. That's why.
Part of the reason that JD Vance matters isn't for these kind of short-term electoral calculations. He matters because of what he means to the Republican Party long-term. This is cementing a kind of nationalism. Yeah. Now, Trump, to your point, I agree with you. He's an instinctive, impulsive, intuitive nationalist. J.D. Vance is an ideological nationalist. That's a much more dangerous virus because he can polish this stuff and make it seem palatable to people. He can sell this stuff to Silicon Valley. He can sell this stuff other places. And what it does is it locks the Republican Party on a pathway that I think is dangerous for the world. Again, the Ukrainians are now in deep trouble. NATO is now in deep trouble. Trump he could have gone with that.
Yeah, sure, they are in deep trouble because we're not going to get billions and billions of our dollars anymore. And that's the whole point. Why is it dangerous? Well, it's dangerous because they're going to lose. That's why it's dangerous. It's not actually dangerous. We've seen the danger of what's been going on, and people's minds are turning around. This is exactly it. The Overton window is flipping. People are starting to see it. People are starting to see through the illusions that are being portrayed out there. And this is, there's no better example than this woman who's crying while watching the Republican National Convention as it's going on because her worldview is just flipped upside down because she's now starting to see reality.
Woo, this world that we're living in right now feels like upside down land. I've been a Democrat for nearly 50 years. Why am I crying over the Republican National Convention? Like, Amber Rose did a beautiful job. Oh, she did a beautiful job. I'm so proud of her. And then all the diversity and just, I think I'm crying because it's cognitive dissonance.
You've been lied to.
Like, what is going on? I've been told my whole life Republicans are just all, white and racist men and all of this. I don't think I've probably ever watched a Republican National Convention. Let's start there. You don't know unless you go see for yourself and stop listening to what people tell you. It's just so beautiful.
It's just so beautiful. I love watching scenes like this. It really warms my heart. Of course, people forgetting that the first Republican ever elected to the office was Abraham Lincoln. He ended slavery in America after a brutal war, mind you, and then was assassinated for his troubles. So let's just remember our history and stop forgetting about what actually transpired. This is the reality, and people are starting to come through with it. And, well, JD Vance being the nominee, the vice president nominee, we'll see. I mean, it's going to be a landslide. Let's not kid ourselves here. But it looks like he's going to be good for Canada. But I'd love to hear what you have to say in the comment section down below. Let me know what you think. And, of course, we'll see you in the next one. Keep on trucking.